Hey guys, just thought I'd give you a few minutes just to get yourself sorted, have a bit of a wind down if you've just taken part in Anna's combat circuit. How many of you are joining in to have a bit of a unwind and stretch off before starting your weekend? Maybe nobody, we'll find out. We'll see. Oh, I've got one at the moment. Oh, there you go, it's starting to come in. That's a good sign, that's a good sign. You know, me and my emojis. Give me the pose if you're taking part. 5 of you at the moment, that's a good start. Nice one, team. Have we all had good weeks? Long weeks? Has it seemed a bit of a dip, this one? Onwards and upwards, folks. New month, fresh start and all that. Oh, you're going to do it before bed? Okay, cool. Hopefully I won't put you in any stress positions before you go to bed. It'll actually loosen you up and relax you rather than send you to bed thinking, how? All being well, positioning the camera and everything should be good. It is a stretch and roll session this evening. So we'll do the first half hour as your traditional stretch like we've been doing for the past few weeks now. And in the last 15-20 minutes, if you've got a foam roller, you can get involved with a little bit of foam rolling releases, or if you haven't, it's your chance to bin me off, or just watch and see how much distress that foam roller can put me in. Because trust me, they're not nice devices, but they are so worthwhile and valuable when it comes to recovery. So come on guys, if you're getting into the stretch, send me your yoga pose. Hey, well done Naomi. In from your second couch to 5k, that's great that is, and yeah, shattered, well done, you've earned that. Stretch off, it'd be a good thing for your legs, definitely. Still got a few minutes. I'm going to hit play just to give you a chance to tell me whether the music's okay or not, remember. We're not going too loud with the music because otherwise I'll be doing a mime session if you watch playback. Let's have a look, let me know. It's my traditional yoga / stretch playlist. So if you've been with me for the past few weeks, you might know it. It will be at ambient volume, so it's not going to overpower. It's all about relaxing and releasing. So it's not heavy metal. Give me a shout out then, let me know how that's doing, and am I visible too? So, whilst you've got a couple of minutes, if anyone's got any particular areas that they want to focus on, please give me a shout out. So let me know if there's anywhere in particular that we could do with stretching off. I do focus a lot on the lower body because, well, it's what gets battered and hammered the most, to be fair. Although shoulders are taking a bit of a battering this week if you've been taking part in strength and conditioning and all the other workouts that have been going on. So I will be doing a few shoulder releases, especially with the foam roller. If you haven't got a foam roller, don't worry, there's still some releases that you'll be able to do, you just have to adapt them slightly. Only 5 of you will bin me off for a shower. All good with sound and brilliant, that's cool. Thank you. Time have we got then? 3 minutes still. You're very quiet, you can chip in. 5 of you. Oh, we got Nick now, good. Are you here? Brilliant. I think, oh Danny, did I spot that you've done your back in? This one should be good for you. I think probably tight glutes if you've been doing, from what I can see, all the workouts on my zone. So I've got the foam roller at the ready for the last 15 minutes, but we'll be doing quite a few hip flexor releases because they're always quite tight and that will help ease off the glutes as well. So if you do struggle with your lower back, it's not always the area that is going to give you the jip, it could be the surrounding muscles that are that tight, pulling everything out of place a fraction. So, big old lower body release. I daren't stand too high because, well, you won't see my head, to be honest. Still a few teething problems with my camera setup. Got to help me tomorrow when I've got a laptop to set up. So how many of you are stretching with me tonight? Still got 2 minutes, let me know. If we've got any other areas that we need to stretch off. Big focus, like I say, quads, hip flexors, glutes, hamstrings, and there'll be a bit of upper body stretching going on too. Evening, John. I don't know about you, I've been feeling cold all day. I'll take my socks off now. And my top. So, well, we've got 10 people. A few of you have found your way in, that's good. All I've got, equipment-wise, nothing but a mat. If you're on a carpet, it shouldn't be a problem. To be honest, I wouldn't fancy doing it on a hard floor, but a mat is what I've got on this tile floor. And I have got my my foam roller for the last element. We won't be bringing this into play until the last 15 minutes, so I'm going to focus 30 minutes on just pure bodyweight stretching, and then the last 15 minutes is when we'll get those evil devices out and do a few releases with those. Right guys, if you want to get yourself comfortable, or as comfortable as you possibly can, I'm just going to start on my knees. So, what the plan is to begin with, we'll just do a little bit of light releases through the upper body, and then after that we'll get a little bit of stretching out majority of the lower body. So, kneeling or standing, entirely up to you. The only reason why I'm going to stay down the ground for the entire session is because if I stand up, my head gets cut off. Okay, so all I'm going to do, I'm going to just push the heels of my hands away from me, and I'm going to drop my chin to chest. So I'm just pushing away, right through the heels of the hands, chin down. And then just relax, but it doesn't mean drop your arms down, so just bring a slight bend in the elbow and then push away again. So drive through the heels of the hands, chin down, get the tension between the shoulder blades as you stretch out, and then relax to soften the elbows. Just going to do that a couple of times just to get the upper back. Push out and hold. Should feel it between the shoulder blades a touch, and then relax off. And then another couple of times, so push away. And then relax off. One more time, so really push away. And then relax the hands down to the side. And all I'm going to do now is I'm going to loop my hands behind me and push my chest forward. So pushing my chest forward, looping my fingers or just holding my hands together, and then just lifting my arms for a fraction. I'm feeling a release in my shoulders, a little bit in my chest and triceps as well. Hold that stretch. Relax, but keep your hands intertwined. So just bring it down so they rest on your bum, and then again push back again as well. Couple more times guys, so release and relax, keep the hands together and then push away again. Again, with any of the stretches, just get to the point where you can feel them, not to the point where they're painful. Squeeze the shoulder blades together like somebody's grabbing you between the blades and trying to pull them together, and then relax off. We've got one more of those. So push away. Relax the arms down, just give them a little bit of a shoulder roll backwards, so just squeeze the shoulders together. And then from there, take one arm up and then hold onto the elbow. I'm putting the palm of my hand between my shoulder blades, and it's a nice tricep release. Just change over. Again, a little bit of a pull on the elbow, just to get a little bit more stretch out of that. That's running right down the back of my arm, so my tricep, and into just below the armpit. Relax off, and then down again. So we're back to the original arm. Now as you start to loosen off, you might find that you can take a little bit of a deeper grip. So now my palm of my hands is a little bit lower and more central. That's because I'm releasing those muscles off, so they're getting a little bit looser. Relax off and then change. And I'm finding my left side is a whole lot right. Okay, relax arms up and then relax them down. Okay, so from that, again, you can either stay standing or you can come down to the ground, it's up to you. Take one arm across the face of my body and I'm just going to pull it over, okay? You can either hold onto it or you can loop it around like I'm doing here. And I'm feeling a release in this shoulder. Hold it there, breathe through it. Relax that arm off and then change sides. That a couple of times each. So just open the chest up nice and wide and then change over again. So it depends on what you've been doing. If you're doing a whole lot of press ups, you'll probably find that you hit your chest quite hard. Change over. From there, open your arms nice and wide. And then just turn your thumbs down towards the ground, release the biceps off a little bit, and then turn them so the thumbs towards the ceiling. Just a few rotations there, down, up, and again keeping the shoulder blades pinned together at the back, so squeeze. Push the arms right up above overhead, so driving my heels and my hands up overhead, upper back release there. Relax the arms down from there, and again just do a little bit of a shoulder roll, forwards and backwards. Okay, right, from there we're going to get onto our knees. So pop yourself onto your knees, slowly going to ease into this one. So we'll take one leg out at a time. We're going to take one leg out, nice long straight leg, and I'm just going to sit into it. Still got my on my toes on my other leg, on my bent leg, and I'm going to point my toes on my straight leg towards the ceiling. Okay, so I'm sitting into it. Put your hands wherever it's comfortable, and I want to just feel the release in the inner thigh. Conversation. Beautiful people. Nice and easy. Switch sides. So take the other leg, point it towards the ceiling. I'm on my toes again. Sink into it. That's not who we are. Right, we're going to do a similar stretch, but we're going to take it completely down to the ground. So from here, all I'm going to do, I'm going to take the one leg out, but I'm going to sit down, okay? This time I'm going to try and put the sole of my foot on my inner thigh, and I've got a nice straight leg there. So I've got, well, pretty much a 90-degree bend on that leg, the sole of my foot's on my inner thigh, and I've got a nice straight leg. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to just reach down towards my feet. I'm going to try and get my chest as low to that leg as I possibly can, and I'm going to hold on to that foot. Now don't worry if you can't get a hold of that foot. Grab the back of your calf, grab wherever below your knee, whatever you need to, and just drop that chest down as low as you can. Breathe through it. Now what I want you to do is take a deep breath in, and as you breathe out, try and get a little bit lower into it. You should feel that running all the way down the back of the leg, so a nice hamstring release. I'm saying, baby, please have mercy on me. Take another deep breath in, and if you can, one more time, try and go a little bit lower. Mercy, mercy, on my heart, would you please have mercy? Slowly ease yourself back up, and then we're going to change sides, okay? So take a nice long leg, and then put the other foot on the inner thigh. Again, we're warming up into it, so just reach down. You may not get your chest as low to begin with, so we're going to do it stage by stage. Take a deep breath in, and as you breathe out, try and push it a little bit lower. Take Take a deep breath in, and then one more time, breathe out, and try and get a touch lower. Slowly ease out of it. Nice one. Okay, so now we've got a little bit warmer through our hamstrings. What I want you to do, put your knees underneath you. Another one that I tend to like to do to release off. Either jump or step out nice and wide. Now you might find, because you're doing a little bit more stretching, or some of you are quite flexible anyway, you can get your feet further apart than what you could have done when you originally started. So to begin with, just take your feet out until you feel slight pull on the inner thighs. Now remember, it's just a slight pull, not a tearing motion or anything like that. We just want to get a release, not an injury. Now if you want to, just drop to your elbows if you can. If not, stay on your hands. Okay, now I'm pushing my weight forward a little bit, but I'm not putting all of my body weight into my elbows. Now I'm going to walk my hands back under through my legs. Okay, that really is going to put that stretch onto the inner thighs. So only walk back as far as you can. Again, stay balanced. Now from here, just walk your hands over to one side. So walk your hands over to one side. If you can, take both hands off the floor and hold on to that one leg. If not, just support yourself with one leg. Again, I'm trying to drop my chest down towards that thigh that I've walked my hands over towards. Go back to centre and just get your balance again. And then slowly walk back over to the other side, so opposite side. Ooh, I'm a whole lot tighter on that one. Come back to the centre. Slowly walk your feet towards you. Keep your hands on the floor, just keep walking them towards you. Bend your knees a fraction and sit down into it. So my hands are on the floor, my feet remain on the floor, and my knees are bent. So like a frog pose. And then put the heels of your hands together and drive into the knees. It's going to help release the hips a little bit. Again, you don't have to sit as low as me. If you need to be a little bit taller into it, then stay a little bit taller. And the only reason why I put my palms together is just because I can push off them to get that push into the knees to drive my hips a little bit wider apart. If you can, take your hands through, behind, towards your ankles, and then sit just a little bit lower into it. Keep the chest lifted as best you can. Again, I'd rather you put your hands somewhere where you're not going to end up face planting. Can you feel that in your inner thighs, yeah? Can you feel it in the hip flexors? Right, hands go back onto the floor, and then all I want you to do is just slowly push your bum towards the ceiling. Get the legs a little bit straighter. Straighten those hamstrings out of touch. Now we're going to walk our feet back out again. So walk your feet back out again. Nice and long. And then push your body weight forward. So if you walk your hands forward a touch, and then push your butt backwards. So hands forward, butt backwards. Really going to feel that release running right up into your glutes. If you want to, you can drop to your elbows. Again, try not to put the weight into your elbows, just nice and low. Get your hands underneath your shoulders again, slowly walk back in. Hands remain, and then just get your legs as straight as you can and push your butt towards the ceiling. Let's just get the hamstrings released off. Ooh. Right. Drop back down to your knees. Give yourself a second if you need to. Get a bit of water if you want that. Right, from there, what you're going to do, one knee at 90, with the foot on the floor, with a 90-degree bend on that leg. Slowly going to push into the hip flexor release. I want you to push, so tuck as if you're tucking your tailbone underneath you and pushing your hips forward. Now if you want to try, you don't have to, try and grab that back leg, hold onto the shin and try and get your heel as close to your butt as you can. Now again, it depends on how tight your quads, your hip flexors are. Mine are very tight, and that, I don't want to push it any more than that. Pushing my hips forward, feel the release in the quad, feel it in that hip flexor there, chest is up. I'm giving it my all, I'm not the guy you're taking home. Ooh. Breathe through it. Slowly release that back foot. Sink into the hamstring stretch. So get the length in that leg. Again, if you want to drop down a little bit lower, go for it. Lift the chest and we're going to change sides, okay? So, other leg up to 90 degrees, tuck the tailbone under, push the hips forward, nice 90-degree bend on the front leg. Start here to begin with, before we do that pick up on the back foot if that's what you can do. So, depends how well balanced you are. Hold on to the other foot. You may find that one is tighter than the other. Ooh. Again, keep the tailbone tucked under, push the hips forward. Really feeling that in my quad. So I've got a really tight quad there. Now, how many of you actually make the effort of stretching after each session? Or do you just do it on things like this when you're forced to? I'm really bad for it. So I've been stretching twice. I stretch on a Wednesday, or is it Tuesday? Could be Tuesday. And I stretch today. Need to make a more conscious decision. Release it off slowly. Go into the hamstring stretch. I'm giving it my all. I'm not the guy you're taking home. Ooh, I keep dancing on my own. And now. Okay, right. Now, Boss did one the other day, which I'm going to go through again, but I'm going to try and make it a little bit deeper. Okay, so what I want you to do, you're going to cross one leg on top of the knee. If you can, put both forearms underneath it, as if you're bicep curling, and then slowly draw it towards your chest, but again, only to the point where you can feel it. Don't worry if you can't get your arms all the way through, use your hands, okay? So I'm going to go for a different grip, just so I can get a little bit more tension into it. But if you need to come back and just literally hold it with your arms, do it. Pull it in. You're going to feel the release in the glute, about here. So that's where we're going to feel it. I also can feel it in my abdominals as well. Hold the stretch. Right, slowly release it and change sides. So cross it on, scoop through and draw it in. Now I'm sliding my arms down a little bit lower, so it's just above my ankle, just to give me a bit more leverage. Hold it there. Can you feel that in your glute? Oh. Any of you suffering with back problems, could be your glutes that are really tight. So things like this are going to be valuable to you. Now I've got a release on the foam roller that we'll be doing, which may be useful too. But we'll do the version on the floor during this element, and then we'll step it up in the foam roller session. Slowly release it off. Right, go down to lying on your back. And this time you're going to hug your knees and bring them with you. Keep your shoulders and your lower back on the ground as best you can. Just pull the knees towards the chest. Now we're going to focus on just one. So hold on to one knee and your other leg, slowly lower it out. So this is the one that we'll do on the foam roller in a little bit. Again, you should feel this one in the hip flexor, on the knee that you've got bent. So on the side that you've got bent. Whilst we're here, take that leg up towards the ceiling, back on, grab the back of the calf and just slightly draw it towards you. Take a deep breath in, and as you breathe out, pull a little bit more into it. Hold that stretch. Slowly relax that leg down. Change sides, so hold on to the knee of the opposite side, draw it towards you, and your other leg slowly lower out. Should feel that again in the hip flexor on the side that you've got hold of the knee on. Slowly extend that leg towards the ceiling, grab onto the back of the calf and slightly draw it into you. Take a deep breath in, and as you breathe out, pull that leg in a little bit more. Slowly release that leg. Okay, right, I want you to come up to sitting, and then what I want you to do from there is plank position. So hands directly underneath the shoulders, nice flat back, and then from there I want you to try and step one leg through so it's in line with the heels of your hands. Okay? Now you've got the option to either drop that back knee if you want to, or keep in that position, but the key is I want you to drive your hips down towards the ground. So drive your hips down towards that ground, and then what I want you to do is I want you to turn towards that front knee. So turn towards that front knee. You can always use the length of your arm to get a little bit more leverage. Nice straight lines. Slowly come back over that front knee and step it back into plank. Hold the plank there. From there, take the other leg through, sink the hips down towards the ground, and then we're going to turn towards that knee. Got a nice straight arm to get the leverage in that rotation. So I was feeling it in my hip flexor. Should feel it a little bit in my shoulders as well. Slowly come back to the front and release back into plank. From there, take the tricep dip down towards the ground, and then push through the heels of your hands, relax your toes off, and we'll just get a little bit of a release through the abdominals and lower back. We're going to push back into child's pose just to reset, and then I've got an inner thigh and hip flexor release. One more before we then kick off into our foam roller section. I want you to push your chest down towards the ground because it's going to give you the opportunity to release your shoulders off and a little bit more of the arms. So a bit of multitasking going on before we reposition for our last body weight stretch. Right, slowly come back up. Right, you're going to take our knees out nice and wide, okay? Don't know whether you can see my feet, hopefully. So I'm turning my feet out, so they're facing out like that. Nice and wide with the hips. Oh, they're tight. And I want you to push your butt towards the rear, okay? They are really tight. You will feel it right there. Again, only take your knees as wide as you possibly can. Oh, they need stretching big time. Now, if you have got the range and flexibility, you can try and drop down to your elbows, but still push your butt towards the back. Ow. How are we finding that one, guys? I'm going to walk back onto my hands again. It's allowing me to get more pressure in the downward phase. So I'm pushing back. So my chest is lifted and I'm pushing towards the back. Please tell me you can feel that one. Oh. Right, lean forward a fraction and bring the knees together. Oh, that was not a nice one, is it? What we can do is just take one leg out to the side from here and then just push it in just to ease out. So just push and then come back to the centre. Same on the other side. And then back to the centre. Brilliant. Okay, I'm going to give you a minute and then we've got a couple more before we then move back onto that foam roller. Right, I'm just going to get into that box split but not as deep. So I'm going to get into the box split not as deep, just to give them a little bit of a chance to loosen up a touch more. Now whilst I'm here, I'm going to loop my hands behind me and push them towards the ceiling. So loop your hands round behind you.
Every word that I've heard spoken since you left feels like a hollow street. I've been told to get you off my mind, but I hope I never lose the bruises that you left behind. Oh my Lord, I
relax the arms off a little bit more. Lift the chest. Sink into the one side. And turn so you're facing over that knee. Turn the foot so it's facing that direction too. If you want to take your arms out, that's by all means go for it. Got a nice straight leg on the back and a bend on the front knee. Feet face forward, change sides. Up to you where you put your hands, wherever's best positioning for you. Come back to the front, hands go underneath you, drop the knees back down underneath you. Right, going to get the foam roller for the next bit. So guys, if you haven't got a foam roller and you want to go, that's fine. If you have got a foam roller, now's the chance to get your hands on it. So I'm going to give you a few minutes, well not minutes, a few seconds to grab your foam roller, because mine just so happens to be here. And then we're going to get rolling on this. Biggest problem areas, whilst you've got a second to scrabble and get hold of it, if you want to note down anything that you want to focus on mainly, I've been hitting a few bits and pieces. We've got upper back, lower back, glutes. We'll do quads because that one's always a horrible one. Again, hip flex so we can get a release in there. And you can release your biceps and triceps with these things, believe it or not. Not pleasant at all. So let's start with quads. I know Anna went through some of these the other week, Tuesday, but we'll recap them. So what you can do with these, you can go full body weight if you have got it within you, but again, it shouldn't be painful. If you can go full body weight, it means that you maintain and you really well keeping on top of foam rolling. If you can't, don't panic. What we want to do is I'm going to start by putting one thigh on top of the foam roller. I'm going to put my other leg on the floor to begin with. Now all I'm doing is going to keep my hips square to the floor, and I'm just going to roll forward and backward until I find a problem. When I find a problem, which means I found a knot in my muscle, that's when I'm going to go probably ouch. And when you get to that point, what you want to do is you want to hold it. So if you find a knot, you're going to want to roll away from it because you're thinking, I don't want to stay here. But what you've got to do is be brave, take a deep breath and stay on that point. It will get easier. So breathe through it. And then when it just feels like it's released, then you need to slowly roll a little bit more because it won't have gone. It will just have released a touch. You need to find it again, okay? So you just keep moving until you find, there we go, a knot, and you stay on it. Now, if you think, okay, that's not too bad, what you can do is you can either lift, so you're off your knee on the other leg, you can stack, you can do whatever you've got to do just to get the release that you need. Now remember, it's not supposed to be massively painful. Trust me, it's not comfortable, but you've got to find your limits. When you find, there we go, a point of release, hold it, breathe through it. And then it will relax off, roll until again, there we go, found it again. You find it, let it release, and then roll again. You'll know, you'll know if it's released because you'll be thinking, that's bearable. And then when you roll again, you'll go, okay, I found it. And that's what you've got to do, continue to work on it until you get to the point where you're actually rolling quite happily going, no worries. But don't forget you've got 2 legs, so once you've done one, do another. I'm just going to quick start it because basically you don't want to watch me roll around for half an hour doing one leg and then roll around on the other for half an hour. You may find that one side is tighter than the other. So again, you'll find out which is your dominant side. Oh my life, these are not pleasant, are they? Now team, I won't spend all day on quads because quads is quite a simple one to explain. What you definitely don't want to do is don't roll over joints, okay? So we're not rolling over our knees, we're not rolling over our hips, not the bony part, we're rolling over the muscles. So when you are stretching out, rolling out your quads, it's from the top of the knee up towards just, close to the inner thigh. So it's not to the actual bony bit, so don't roll over the joints. Glutes, again, same thing you can do. The glute tends to stick, you can sit on it completely if you want to, or roll one cheek out at a time. Now, I found that when I had a really, really tight butt, so much so that I thought I had sciatica, a really good stretch to release it. Now, if you have got one of these spiky balls, or you've got a tennis ball, they're also brilliant as a release. Again, not pleasant, but you can also use your foam roller. What you want to do is, again, start with your knees bent, okay? So feet on the floor. If you find a point, there's one, it might feel like something's slipping, okay? So if you find one, there we go, it's as if they're slipping, okay? Find the point of it, and then what you want to do with the leg that the muscle and the knot is on, you want to slowly, and I mean slowly, straighten it out, okay? So we slowly straighten it out, and then you slowly bring it back into you. Now again, it's not a big issue for me at the moment because I'm not in the same pain that I was at one point. I couldn't move my leg to even straight. So if you get to the point where you're thinking, you know you've got a bad one, okay? So just get to the point where you can feel it, breathe through it, wait until it releases, and it will allow you to get a little bit more length out of that leg. If you're struggling to straighten that leg, you've got a lot of work to do, I hate to tell you, okay? And I know it seems painful, but trust me, if you can get through it, it'll make your training a whole lot better. You'll be able to move a whole lot more freely. So that's a really good one for releasing the glutes. If you're sitting there in agony on these things, do spend the time on them. Again, once you've done one, you may as well do the other, excuse me. See what you can feel. Lower backs especially, if you are going down with lower back pain, okay, try your glutes. Try it, trust me. You'll probably be thinking, I can live with the back pain, I can't live sitting on this thing. Don't suffer, guys. Right, okay, I've had enough of that one. Right, I'm going to show you how to release off your lower back. Now, like the one we did where we hugged our knee, we can do the same thing, but we can put the foam roller just in our lower back, okay? So what I'm going to do, knees bent, I'm going to put my shoulders on the floor, do not bridge off your neck, and then all I'm going to do, I'm going to pull one knee in towards me. So again, lower back, and then if you can, once you've pulled that knee in, slowly take that leg down to the ground, okay? That's going to give more length into the body, and again, if you want to, same leg that you've got down, lift that arm above you. You'll feel that in your lower back, and you may feel it a little bit more in your hip flexor as well. So that's a nice lower back release. I'd say try and relax, but you try and relax with something shoved under your back. Again, once you've done one, you'd spend a little bit longer than what I'm doing. I'm just fast tracking just to give you as much information as we can. Change, so pull the one knee in towards you, release the leg down slowly, and then again with the straight leg, the straight arm above, under, overhead. So pull it in. And then you can put both feet down on the floor, okay? Now that would be your lower back, a little bit of hip flexor release. From there, if you wanted to release off your shoulders, then again, you can use this as a pillow, but we never bridge off it, so we're not bridging onto our neck. If we want to release our upper back, it needs to sit across the shoulder blades, okay? So don't bridge off your neck, whatever you do. All I'm going to do, position my shoulders on there, and then just lift. So my hips are off the floor, I've got my feet grounded, and then from there, again, you can just roll yourself forward and backwards nice and steady. So nice and steady. Now what you can do to get a little bit more leverage and get a little bit more weight, you can take your hands overhead. So it's slow control movements, not over the neck, so don't go and rest on the neck, whatever you do, just up to the upper shoulders, and again, you should feel it between the shoulder blades. That's quite a nice one, unless you've got loads of knots in your back, and it's probably agony. I don't know whether I'm rolling off screen or not. Hopefully not. That one needs a bit of work for definite, I can feel that one. Now what you find is if you find a point where there is a little bit of a knot, then you can stay on it, and then we just slightly turn, so little rotations, not massively quick movements, so slight turns from side to side, just to work through it a touch. And you'll probably find you're getting an ab workout as well, so you're bracing your abs because you're not letting your hips drop. Multitasking. Foam roller and core, eh? And then there's one more, well there's more than one to be honest, but has anyone got really tight traps to the top? This one's going to sit literally down here. This one's as horrible as, you know, ITB band. So all I do is I literally just put it, oh there we go, underneath my armpit, and then slowly, oh there it is. I'm not even putting a lot of weight on it, okay? At the moment, my arm is bent. What I'll try and do is I'm going to try and take it above my head. Oh, but I'll normally, and you may find this too, you feel like I've got a shooting pain right into the top of my delts. And I'm slowly just pushing forward and backward. Again, they're all slow, steady movements. What do you think of that one? You all left me. How many people have I got left? 2. Oh, as soon as you say foam roller, that's it, everybody's off. Here we go. So again, feel it just on the back of the armpit. Once you're done on one side, you guessed it. Oh, that's heavy. It's alright. Again, it's not pleasant. And you'll probably have one side which needs a bit more work than the other. How are we finding these, guys? I said to relaxing into the night, it's not. These things are not relaxing. So again, if you can, take your arm as high above your head as you possibly can. It will take work to get it up there, so don't think you've got to literally just throw your arm above your head, because if you do, your neighbours will probably think somebody's been, don't know what they'll be doing to people in your house. Oh. Right, I'm going to call it quits there. Team, as always, it's an absolute pleasure. Don't forget, tomorrow night we've got things to look forward to. It is quiz night. As Anna said, we'll be posting things in the group during the weekend anyway, but it's no lives on Saturday. What you're aiming towards, and we hope you'll get involved, is the 5 PM quiz. Get yourselves dressed up. Come on, I'm making an effort. I'm going to get in a dress, try and do my hair, might even try and colour my eyes in. So get involved, get stuck in, aim towards it. Let's kick off May with smiles and positivity. Have a fantastic Friday night, guys, and stay in touch. You know where we are. Always happy to have a chat. I'm going to come crawling towards you. It's a little bit off-putting, isn't it? Catch you later, guys. Have a good one.